Okay, everybody, I just wanted to give you an overview of why businesses fail. I think it's the best way to start off the whole course because most of us who are in business do not want to fail. We don't want to become one of those statistics that the Small Business Administration tallies up. And in fact, this applies not only to to small businesses, but also to large businesses. And so I think anybody who either works for a business as an employee or a manager has a vested interest in keeping the business alive so that they still have a job. And any of us who own businesses also have a vested interest in keeping the business alive. So this is information provided by the Small Business Administration. It's fairly old, 2007, although follow-up studies have come up with the same conclusions. The same businesses are failing for the same reasons, even in the modern economy. And so let's jump into them. The United States Small Business Administration recognized or identified 8 core reasons why businesses fail. The first is a lack of experience by the owners. I will not tell you how common it is for me to have someone come into my office and want help with a business plan or want help funding a business, and when you ask them what their experience in the business is, they always have some sort of minimal experience. So they'll say, hey, I want to start a restaurant. People love my cooking, and so I thought I should start a restaurant. And I'll say, well, how much experience do you have in the restaurant industry? And they'll say, oh, well, I cook at home for friends, and people really love it. And I'll say, well, what do you understand about how restaurants run? Well, I mean, how hard is it? You sell food, and people buy it. It's that simple. And the bottom line is it's not that simple. A lack of experience in the business will kill you real quick. And there's really only one way to get that experience. It's go work in the industry. Whether you go start as a busboy and work your way up, or find someone who owns a restaurant who will allow you to shadow the managers for a period of time. That's how you gain experience. The second reason is insufficient capital. Plain and simple, you got to have enough money to run the business. If you don't have enough, then the business is going to eventually die. This is one of those things that the only way to really overcome it is to make a really good business plan, and it requires that you have experience again to make that business plan, so that you can foresee the costs that are going to come up and make sure you have sufficient capital to make the business happen. A lot of people think the business is going to turn a profit in the first 3 months or something, and that's going to fund it. And for most businesses, that just isn't true. It's not that uncommon for a business to not make money for the first year. So insufficient capital. The third is poor location. You have a product that you need to sell to customers, so your location needs to be such that you are near the customers who will be buying your product. And even in the modern economy, where a web-based business might say my location doesn't matter at all, even that's not true, because you have to have a location where suppliers can get the materials you need to you in a reasonable way. Next is poor inventory management. Businesses who don't have enough stuff on hand pretty soon have angry customers when they show up and they want to buy something and it's not there. They're upset. Likewise, if you have too much stuff on hand sitting there on the shelves collecting dust, then you're in trouble as well. This is especially important in retailers, grocery stores, restaurants. Anybody who's selling stuff to somebody has got to manage the amount of stuff they have. Anybody who's ever worked in a grocery store will tell you that product sitting on shelves is money that could be being used more efficiently. And when you run out of products on shelves, people become angry. So you have to manage your inventory perfectly to keep the customer happy without wasting money. Overinvestment in fixed assets. The most common problem here, people come and they'll say, I want to buy this huge building. This business is going to be just go through the roof and we need to purchase a building right off the bat. Usually it's because they know somebody who's selling a building and they think, hey, I have the perfect business for that. And that's a little bit of the tail wagging the dog. The business should define the needs of the space, not the space defining the needs of the business. And so often it's best for businesses to lease the things or even borrow stuff in the beginning while they're getting off the ground. And then as they grow, it's the same way. Adding a new retail location is a huge investment, and perhaps leasing is the best option in the beginning most of the time. Next is poor credit arrangements, borrowing money for too high of an interest rate, or not understanding the payment scheme of a loan. All of those sorts of things, having suppliers who are unwilling to extend credit to you or who are willing to extend it in a way that's not helpful to you, those can lead to business problems. And then personal use of business funds. I can't tell you how many business owners, myself included, have fallen into this trap. When you have business money in your pocket and you have an expense come up, it's easy to just pay that money out. So having a good system of financial management is key to not being killed by this personal use of business funds. You really just need to separate it out and say, this is business money, this is personal money. Any money that the business is going to pay to me is going to be in the form of a payment to me as the owner, not just haphazardly taken from the business. And finally, this one doesn't sound like a problem, but it is unexpected growth. If the business grows too quickly and is not managed properly, there can be real problems. Again, we see this both in the retail and in the service side, where the business is successful and begins to grow, and so the business owner adds more locations or more services or whatever they're adding without really counting the cost of what it takes to grow. Likewise, if you don't grow fast enough, you have angry customers, huge lines or things like that, where people want your product, but they can't get it, and pretty soon they go find it somewhere else. So really, a business owner has to anticipate growth and manage that growth appropriately. So these are the 8 reasons, the 8 core reasons why businesses fail. And so in a course like this, financial management, we're not dealing with all of them, but I'd like you to take a look at that list of 8 and tell me which ones a little bit of financial management skill would come in handy in avoiding or mitigating. Let me just start at the top of the circle or the wheel there. Poor credit arrangements, poor inventory management, unexpected growth, personal use of business funds, overinvestment in fixed assets, and insufficient capital. So that's 6 out of the 8 that we could clearly see being able to have strong financial management skills are going to help mitigate. In fact, if you can mitigate those 6, you would increase your chances of business success tremendously. The United States SBA says that about 50% of businesses will fail in the first year, and that's a pretty significant number. I know as we've worked with businesses and helped them develop plans and help them gain some basic financial literacy, business owners, that the businesses I've worked with have failure rates in a much lower, about 8%. About 92% of them are still going after a year, and about 85% are still going after a couple of years. So that's not necessarily because we have some genius new way of doing it. It's just finding out what causes people to fail and then mitigating those through training and through planning. Learning a little bit about financial management, which is what we're going to do in this course, and making a plan so that we're not surprised by these things when they come up. Again, these things relate not only to small businesses but to large businesses. And so whether you're an owner or a manager in a business, these things, understanding these things is going to help you be more successful. Good luck in the course, and I hope this first lesson is useful to you. part of it is just trying to buy some time to make sure everybody has their books. But another part is that this is the real core reason why we're doing this, is trying to help businesses avoid failure, or to put it more positively, to help businesses be successful. Again, good luck in the course. As always, if you need anything, you can contact me. My number is 928-485-1871. That's my cell phone. You can text me or call me at that number, or you can email me at michael.fox@eac.edu. Any one of those ways will work. Probably the best chance for getting a hold of me relatively quickly is through a text message, but you can do any of those. Good luck with the course, and thanks for listening.